I personally believe that the carnivore diet is going to be a more short-lived fad. Hey everybody, I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. And when I say a short-lived fad, I don't mean just a year or two. It'll probably take a decade before it really gets hammered. But I think what's going to ultimately do it in is going to be the number of people who have serious health problems from it, who start suing some of the experts who are telling people to do it. And I mean, case in point, remember Dr. Paul Saladino, one of the most ardent proponents of it, has already had to adjust from doing a pure carnivore diet because he suffered health issues from it. Then you see guys like Sean Baker, whose blood work is so bad that when other medical doctors do see it, they panic. Keeping in mind, he is accumulating atherosclerosis at an alarming rate. And for people say, he's a medical doctor, how could you question him? Because tons of other medical doctors and cardiologists are essentially out there saying his blood work is scary bad. Okay, so it's not a matter of my personal opinion. And then you look at what the atherosclerosis associations have all found, that the leading experts in atherosclerosis around the world at this point are agreeing that LDL is the primary cause of atherosclerosis. And he has atherosclerosis that is some of the highest I have ever heard of in a human being. On blood work he's published, I've not seen any that high, which indicates a lot of things. It means there's some overlapping factors happening with it. It's some things in his diet, along with probably some other stuff he's doing at an advanced stage. So it's a whole combination of things. So it is going to catch up with him. And ultimately, once he has his first heart attack, as a massive proponent of this, and it goes public, that's going to knock the wind out of people's sails. They're going to be like, yeah, we need to rethink this thing. And someone who's that fit and healthy goes ahead and has a heart attack from it. So there's all of that, but then we have to think about the fact of that's not the only problem. There's also the issue with gut flora extinction, possible GI tract issues, and people are not talking about the gut flora extinction enough. And the people I got this from, interestingly enough, is conversations from Alex Leaf, the person who told you guys I know him and his wife, friends with them. They have done the research. He did the research, was one of the researchers on some of the protein overfeeding studies, okay? Right, that looked at body composition and protein overfeeding, right? So this is someone who's very, very pro-protein. He believes that, as a researcher, that protein, extremely large amounts of protein is beneficial for getting leaner, right, and staying leaner. And he's helped pioneer some of the research that is showing that. So you need a context for that. This is a person who has also said that these zero fiber diets to extremely low fiber diets can cause gut flora extinction. And I've seen him write about it and talk about it, that what will end up happening is that you will lose gut flora that die out. And sometimes the only way to get it back can be a fecal transplant. Okay. So the problem is it can cause things like permanent IBS and other problems. So problems that some of these people had before, eventually are going to come back around and hit them harder. Okay, and again, if it wasn't for quacks like Jordan Peterson out there pushing it, okay, he's one of the people who's responsible for putting it out there. Had he not got up and told all these stories with his daughter doing it, it would not have become so popular. And keep in mind, he is himself a bit of a cult figure who has pushed it. So what you're going to see with some of this, people are going to start suffering health problems. When you see more and more people, because I've seen people even online who are like, oh, my doctor puts me on a statin, who are doing these sort of diets. It's like, well, yeah, because you need a statin at this point. If this diet is pushing, because you're too high in saturated fat, is pushing your LDL out of the normal range, and you get blood work, a reasonable doctor is going to put you on a statin because that is the proper medical response. Now, again, people want to make that statement where you're arguing against a medical doctor. Well, then you're arguing against medical doctors now. And you can't have it both ways. Say that, I can't argue with a medical doctor who happens to be a quack and following fringe stuff that all the other doctors and nutrition experts say is crazy. Okay? But then when all the majority of medical doctors, and particularly cardiologists, they see that blood work, are going to put people on statins. And if they don't go on them, they're going to have very high rates of cardiovascular risk. I mean, and this is a case of where we're seeing people who are lean and fit. We don't normally see that as much. Lean, fit people with really bad lipid profiles. Okay, because normally being leaner and exercising is protective. Okay, it tends to be protective against these things. People who walk around at 10-11% body fat, unless there's substances that are contributing, are usually not having a lot of LDL elevated. They're not having some of these bad health markers. The problem is, all these people, they're only focusing on things like the fasting glucose. But, that's the only thing that people bring up. Well, look at their fasting glucose is low when they're eating no carbohydrates. Well, my fasting glucose is low on a high carb diet. I remember when I put up blood work before. It's what happens when you have good insulin sensitivity and you're fit and healthy. Okay? So it's not that particular diet alone that's capable of doing that. My fasting glucose was considered low. It was outside of the normal range low, while eating 500 grams of carbohydrates a day. But what's going to continue to happen is going to be the gut flora extinction. And when more people realize that those issues they're having are coming from doing this diet, these nearly zero fiber diets, okay, they're going to come back and start blaming. They're going to start speaking out. Hey, this diet hurt me. This diet did this. My doctors, these dietitians, these registered dietitians look at what I was doing and said this is what caused it. Okay, when more of these people start having cardiovascular events as the elevated LDL accumulates atherosclerosis faster over years, these people you're going to see more people speaking out against the harm it caused them. You're going to see some of these people are possibly then going to start pursuing the experts who sold them on it. Like they may even start suing some of them. Okay, because they're giving deadly diet advice. It's not just bad; they're giving advice that is deadly to people, extremely harmful. And again, it's telling them to eat no fiber, eat no fruits and vegetables. Okay, which are essential for health. They are essential for long-term health. And then to eat large amounts of saturated fat. It's not like these people are even promoting eating lean protein. They're promoting eating tons of red meat and then adding extra fats, things like butter, oftentimes. Right, this is a problem. And I mean, some of that can be offset by eating enough fruits and vegetables. Okay, it's one reason ketogenic diets don't have it as bad. But you're removing all the protective stuff. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.